Hey y'all, it's June the 2nd, 2015. Like I said, I got two stories that I wanted to share with y'all. Now, this story covers something that honestly, before today, I really wasn't all that aware of. It's something called transabled people. Now, I know you probably heard of transgendered people. In fact, you probably hear about them every single day. You know, you caught that, what was it? Caitlyn Jenner or whatever. I know you caught that. Anyways, now there was transgender, and we're saying that, well, that's not a mental disease. That's not a mental disease. That's just who they are. And now, well, the thing is, it's already been out. It's been out for a long time. I just became aware of it. You got the transabled, which are a lot of times those people who they feel like all the physical capabilities that they were given that they don't that's foreign, they don't like it. Like if they have legs, they don't want legs. Some people, from what I heard, and I have no reason to not believe the sources from which I've heard, some people go to the extremes of chopping their legs in certain countries, get their legs chopped off and their arms chopped off, and they'll just be a body with no legs or arms. And this is commonly referred to in the people in the know as nuggets. The people are called nuggets. I'm sorry if I'm blowing your mind, but my mind just got blew earlier over this. Nuggets. In fact, they have certain kind of porns, and trust me, at this point, I don't know about you, but I've heard about all sorts of kinds of porns that I would never, ever, ever want to lay eyes on, ever. They just sound, they just sound outrageous. They sound not of this world. Sound like they're ran by demons. A lot of them. Such a thing called nugget porn. So as you can imagine, it's a body, don't have no legs or arms. They're involved in a porn. I'm not really gonna go any further because I've never seen anything like that. I don't plan to see anything like that. You know, take it where your imagination will let you. If you're like me, it doesn't let you go very far. But yeah, that's a real thing. But anyways, so I went and I was looking around articles about transabled people, and there was an article out of what is this? The Daily Mail dot co.uk is it what I came across? It's a lady named Ola Closter wrote this article covering this one transabled lady named Chloe Jennings White. And apparently Chloe Jennings White is a research scientist. She's educated in the Cambridge University, which I don't understand, it's like Ivy League, isn't it? Or is it close to? And yeah, ever since, okay, apparently, to sum up her story, ever since she was, and I am going to leave a link to the article, but ever since she was 4, she saw her aunt. This is the premise of the whole thing. She saw her aunt, and her aunt had leg braces, and she said, "Man, I'm supposed to have leg braces, and I don't have them. I feel weird." Stuff. And, before I go any further, let me just tell you this. Uh, Chloe Jennings White, let me tell you this right now, does not believe in God. Not at all. And the thing is, I brought that up because I know this, and yet nobody even bothered to ask her, pose the question to her for this interview. I noticed that weird coincidence that she was never asked, "Hey, Chloe, do you believe in God? Or, do you have any investment in that?" But anyways, to continue the story, yeah, she saw her aunt in like braces. So ever since she was 4, remember that, she thought, well, I should be in leg braces. for some reason. And she couldn't get over it later on. And apparently, even when she was 9 years old, she started trying to involve herself in accidents such as riding a bicycle off a theater stage, trying to paralyze her legs. And she subsequently, over the years, she's gotten much older by now, um, put her or got into weird accidents, got into car accidents, not remembering whether or not she meant to crash the car in order to get herself paralyzed. And now people who know her and stuff, and then you can see a handful of people who know her and help her um, with her mental disorder. They call it a mental disorder. Yes, that's what it is. It's a mental illness if you were to be a little bit more extreme with it. But yeah, they help her through it, and then they encourage her to use a wheelchair and just all sorts of stuff. They encourage her to live her life like a uh, paraplegic person, and that'll help her not have anxiety. It's basically, I guess, the route that everybody chose to go around her, because you gotta kind of like everybody's gotta pretend that she's in a wheelchair for real around her, and that basically they're saying, okay, well that's normal. You should want to be in a wheelchair. You should get yourself in crazy accidents, and that's that's all right. I mean, as long as you don't, commit suicide. I try not to have these accidents, but you can still pretend to be in a wheelchair, right? And that's basically what this article covered. That's pretty much it about the article. She's saving up. She found a doctor overseas that'll like cut her dang nerves so that she can't walk no more. But he said, "Man, you can give me 16,000, or I'm not cutting nothing." So she's saving up, hoping that one day she'll be able to afford him to snip her, and then she can't use her legs no more. And of course, if it's anything like transgendered, you bet your bottom dollar people will say, "Hey, people were born this way." Even though she admits that she was not born that way, it happened to her at 4 years old. And say, people were born this way, we need to be able to use your tax dollars, and we're going to go ahead and cut all sorts of things off of them and tell them that that's okay and normal. It's good that they cut off things off of them. And, I mean, obviously it's definitely reached Twilight Zone proportions, right? And it all stems from tolerance, which obviously you probably know by now is something that I don't really care for. Right? And I mean, as far as tolerance goes, you know what I'm saying? I would have never met Chloe Jennings White. That's a good example. I would have never met her in my life. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm glad that she's saving up. Because that means that my tax dollars won't have to pay for it. But, I mean, you can bet your bottom dollar that with Obamacare or Hillary Care or whatever that is they're going to call it, you're going to have to start paying for people to get their legs chopped off and their nerves snipped and, get their arms and legs chopped off. And when they get their arms and legs chopped off, of course, you're going to have to pay for a service that carts them around everywhere in a basket that they live in. I know this sounds crazy like I'm making it up. I know that. But that's what it's going to have to do. Now, here's the thing about it. Chloe Jennings White, I want you to, because I don't think anyone's ever posed a scenario to you. Think about this. Think about this real quick. All right. You admit that when you were 4 years old, you saw your aunt for the first time with leg braces on. For some reason, that clicked off something in your mind, and you said, "Oh man, I need leg braces. I don't need legs. I don't like them. They're not for me." It's what you said at 4 years old. So I want you to think about it as you wander around pretending to be in a wheelchair, all right? And everybody around you is pretending as well for you to be in a wheelchair. You can't use your legs. Everybody's pretending. But see, now on the outside of those people, you're going to have people who know about you, obviously, and they know that you're pretending. It's very confusing. Now, if you see any children out in public, and I can assume that you've seen children out in public, say that they're 4 years old, maybe they don't have great parents, and parents never introduced them to God, so now they're confused, and they're 4 years old. They're going to see you, and it's a good chance that some of them are going to develop exactly what you developed, which is a mental illness, that they're going to think, oh man, she gets to pretend she don't have legs. I want to pretend as well that I don't have legs, and I'm going to get myself in crazy accidents to see if I can mess up my legs. You're you're inevitably going to cause a certain amount of children to do this. Now, one is too many. One is way too many. But it's going to be more than one. You're going to cause them to have a mental illness that you can describe yourself the way that you got it. Is all that going to be worth it? I wonder. I want to think about that, Chloe Jennings White. Yes, there is a God, and He gave you legs and they work, and you climb upstairs all the time. You're crazy. This is June 2nd, 2015. Nugget porn is crazy.